It speaks volumes to corruption that went on with Owen Paterson with Ramdocs.
We've got to do something about the sleaze in Parliament.
There's a real feeling here that people think they've been taken for granted.
It has started to feed through to the doorstep, yes.
North Shropshire has voted Conservative in each general election since 1983. But attempts to get Owen Paterson off for breaking lobbying rules have backfired spectacularly for the Conservatives, putting Tory sleaze straight back into the national conscience. To top it off, the Conservatives are having to weather another storm, a video of Downing Street staff laughing and joking about a lockdown-breaking party which Boris Johnson claims never happened. Will recent events be their downfall in this once true blue constituency? North Shropshire is a rural constituency that lies within the county of Shropshire, the sixth least densely populated county in England. The constituency was first created in 1832 before being abolished 53 years later. In 1983, the constituency was revived and held by former Leader of the House of Commons John Biffen until 1997. The seat was then held by the former Environment Secretary Owen Paterson for 24 years before his resignation in November, igniting the MP's sleaze row. North Shropshire now go to the polls to elect only their third MP in modern history. Hoping to become Labour's first ever MP for North Shropshire is candidate Ben Wood.
There's a real feeling here that people think they've been taken for granted. We are a decent, hard-working country and, people have integrity. I don't think that people are willing to put up with this for any longer. People feel they've been taken for granted. People feel that there's a government who seems to think that it's one rule for them, one rule for another. And this is a chance to send a message that, we want to do things differently.
In the 2019 general election, Owen Paterson received a commanding 62.7% share of the vote. It would take an almighty vote swing for the Conservatives to lose North Shropshire, but the political scandals of the past few weeks have come up on the doorstep.
It speaks volumes to corruption that went on with Owen Paterson with Ramdocs and everything else that went on with him and his investigations. And you only need to look at Prime Minister's question time yesterday, what's been going on in the Tory government.
I think at the beginning of the campaign, the issue that really angered people here was the way in which the Conservatives had tried to change the rules mid-process to sort of get him off the original planned sanction, and that sort of twisting of the rules was more of a concern than the original offence, if you like. So that issue came up a bit in the first week. There was a bit of anger about that. As we've gone through the election, we've seen people focus much more on what their MP is going to do for them, and what they're telling us is that they want somebody who's going to listen to them and fight their corner in Westminster. But obviously the news about the Christmas party is very new. Our canvass teams out over the last day or so have said that it has started to feed through to the doorstep, yes.
Hi, I'm Neil Shastry-Hurst and I'm humbled to have been selected as the Conservative candidate for North Shropshire in the upcoming by-election. Over the next few weeks I'll be travelling across the constituency and I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible.
Neil Shastry-Hurst's team said they didn't have time to speak to Politics.co.uk for this feature. Speaking to people in the constituency, you get a feeling that people are running out of patience. One member of the public summed up recent events by saying, "They'll get away with it, they're all liars, every one of them." Another lifelong Conservative voter said they're voting Liberal Democrat this time. They're in disarray, time for a change, they said. Is public opinion beginning to turn on the Conservatives?
It's very interesting actually talking to people on the doorstep. I think when the story hit the press there was a lot of aggression towards Owen specifically, but that's not really what I'm hearing on the doorstep. I think that people feel disappointed and let down, and they feel on a personal level quite sorry for Owen that his career ended this way. People do feel angry, but that's towards the government and that's towards Boris Johnson rather than towards Owen himself. Absolutely, people think that, we've got to do something about the sleaze in Parliament, and I actually think that the way that the situation was handled in Parliament with Owen was just absolutely appalling.
Following crisis after crisis, the Conservatives cannot afford to lose North Shropshire. A vote of no confidence here would be momentous and potentially fatal for Boris Johnson as Prime Minister.